Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. And it feels like absolutely ages since I last did one of these. Would have been about 3 or 4 months ago at the YouTube bloggers match on Big Haze at Todber Manor. But a lot's changed since then. I've got a new job, and that's sort of taken up a lot of my time over the last 2 or 3 months. I've managed to get out for a few sessions here and there, which I'll give you a bit of an update on all of that later on in the session. But for now, it's early morning and I'm on Linear Fisheries on B1. I did actually start off on B2 just scanning the water for about 30 minutes. It's day tickets only at the minute, and it's been very, very cold overnight. It got down to -1 last night, so conditions are not ideal. There is meant to be a strong northeasterly wind picking up later on this afternoon as well, so it is stacked against us at the minute. But the reason I came on to B1 is because I didn't see anything on B2. There wasn't any fish showing, and after speaking to the bailiff, he pointed me in the direction of B1 because it's been doing a few bites over the last few days, and he said the swim that I'm currently in has done a few of those bites. So hopefully the fish are in the area. I've got 2 solid bags whacked out at about 70-80 yards, and I've got a zig on a 6 foot zig out, and with a bit of black foam. So hopefully we can get ourselves a few fish, and I'll sort of talk you through the tactics as we go on in the session. For those of you that follow me on Facebook and Instagram would have seen about 3 months ago I started my dream job working for Daiwa as the European CARP media coordinator, and it's just been a dream come true. 3 or 4 years ago when I first started this YouTube channel, I had hoped that one day it might lead to a potential opportunity within the fishing industry, alongside in the digital media area. And it just goes to show that the hard work certainly can pay off. So if it's something that you guys are interested in as well, I know a lot of you also make your own content, just keep up with it and hopefully the hard work will pay off. So moving on to my personal fishing, I have managed to get out on a few occasions. Now I have just joined a syndicate water as well on a winter ticket, so that runs from October to March next year, and it is a gorgeous lake. It used to be a peat works and then a nature reserve, and now it's a syndicate carp lake, and it is gorgeous. It's certainly my sort of lake. It's a real intimate water with plenty of features. I think it's 4 or 5 islands. It's about 7 acres, and it doesn't get too, it's not really a busy water. There's only sort of a limited number of anglers that can be on it on the ticket, and the carp go up to just under 40 pounds, and there's even potential that carp that's done, I think it was 37 last out a year ago, so it's got every chance that could be a 40 as well. And I have managed a couple of sessions since joining. On my first session, I spent about 4 or 5 hours there, just to sort of scope out the water, manage to get the rods out, and I had a 25-pound 5-ounce common, so I was absolutely chuffed to bits with that. My second session didn't go as well. That resulted in a blank, but I'm hoping that I'm going to have a campaign video coming out sort of next springtime that will sort of document my time on it, and sort of do a bit of a feature video on it, which should be cool. So I'll keep the footage for that for then. Moving on, I have been out to Linear a couple of times in the last 2 or 3 weeks with one of the Daiwa consultants for work purposes, but I have managed to get my rods out on both occasions. On the first time we were on B2, and I managed a 26 pound 7-ounce mirror carp, which was a right result, just chucking a couple of solid bags out and managing to get that one. It was really nice fish, real sort of stocky, muscly fish, real muscular fish. So it was really good to get off the mark then. Then moving on to last week, I came up with the same consultant, and we ended up on B1. We started on Hardwicks and Smiths, but after 3 or 4 hours of no action, we didn't really see anything either. We did spot a few fish on B1, so we came over here, and within an hour, I managed a carp of 27 pounds 8 ounces, enough a really chunky mirror, proper good looking this as well. Not what the carp you sort of typically associate with Linear. And Lewis also had one, a real scaly sort of 20 pounder, which was a beautiful fish as well. So that sort of brings you up to date with my fishing. I'm going to reel these rods in. I'm going to actually put on some solid bags with maggots because these haven't done anything for the last couple of hours, and hopefully we can get a bite on today's session as well. Just coming up to midday, and I've just changed my left hand rod over to a zig as well. So that's 2 rods on zig and 1 still out on the bag with a maggot hook bait. The left hand rod, I've got a bit of black foam. It's about 3 foot off the deck, and it's got a bunch of maggots as well just to top it, seeing if that little bit of movement might sort of strike a bite. But conditions are against us. I mean, it is zig weather, it's bright sunshine, it's flat calm, not ideal conditions, but definitely you would have thought if we're going to get a bite it's going to be on zigs. I'm going to have some lunch and then I'm going to reassess. I'm going to come up with a plan. I might even have a look on B2 again, see if I can see anything there. But hopefully we can get ourselves into a fish. Needless to say, the session's been a little bit quieter than I'd hoped. I haven't seen any fish. I put myself in this particular swim because it gave me a good view of the lake to try and spot some signs of activity and then try and jump on it if that was possible. But I haven't seen anything, and after speaking to the bailiff as well just a moment ago, both B1 and B2 hasn't produced a fish so far today. So conditions, like we thought earlier, they're not great. The 2 frosts over the last 2 nights have really, you can tell that it's just slowed the fish down, and the lake seems pretty dead overall. But the bailiff assures me I'm in the right area of the lake. For the last sort of week, this is where the bites have been coming from on B1. Going into darkness is going to be the time for the bites, he reckons, as well, and that would sort of go along with the session that we had on here last week, where the 2 fish we had were just before it got dark. So gates close at 6, so got a good few hours of fishing left. It gets dark about 4. I'll probably give it till about 5:30, give me enough time to get to the gate before it closes. I have been chopping and changing on tactics, zigs, solid bags, so I've been really giving it a good go on trying to get something, a feeding response from these carp, but they seem to be playing hardball at the minute. But you know, that's fishing. I did walk up to B2, brought the rods in, walked up to B2 for 15-20 minutes, spoke to an angler on there. They haven't seen anything, and I didn't see anything while I was up there, so it gives me no reason to move swim. This is where bites have happened going into darkness over the past week, so I've got, based on what I know, there's no reason for me to move on B2 or even move to a different swim on here. So we're probably going to see it into the night on this swim, and hopefully we can get an opportunity of a fish. We've got about 10-15 minutes of light left, I reckon, and I've just repositioned all 3 rods. I've gone all 3 on solid bags on the bottom. One of them's on a maggot rig with just a maggot ring and about 5 or 6 maggots, red and white maggots, with a little bit of foam just to pop it off the bottom away from the hook. And I've got the other 2 on NS1 mini pop-ups, which I've put a little bit of split shot just behind, just so it acts as a wafter rig in that bag. So I'm confident we might get a bite. This is about the time now when we started to get a few bites last week, and as I said, this is when the bailiff reckons it's the time to have the rods out, so hopefully we can get one to save the blank. Unfortunately, the light faded away and this session resulted in a blank, but if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's very much appreciated. Until the next time, I'll catch you later.